Today on Katie. Pull up a chair for family dinner night.
This takes 10 minutes from start to finish.
From Studio One in New York, it's Katie.
And welcome back. It's now time for Katie's Toolkit. You know, gathering everyone around the dinner table at the same time can sometimes be as easy as herding cats, but new research tells us it's more important than you think to make sure that everyone in the family pulls up a chair and chows down. Here to tell us how to make it work is family dinner expert and creator of the 6 o'clock scramble, Aviva Goldfarb. I'm a firm believer. I mean, you're preaching to the choir because I have always believed in the importance of having family dinners, but it's become a bit of a lost art. Why is that?
Yeah, you know, family dinners have declined dramatically in the last 20 years, and at the same time, as you know, we've seen obesity rates skyrocket, and when families do manage to get together for dinner, it only lasts about 12 minutes. So we're busier than ever, but that's also why it's more important than ever to make family dinners actually happen in our busy lives.
And I know that research suggests, Aviva, that a family dinner, even 3 or more times a week, has a huge impact on a child's health.
That is so true. You know, family dinners nourish us in more ways than we can even imagine. And study after study does show that when families have dinner together more often, kids do better in school. They are healthier physically and emotionally. They are less likely to engage in risky behaviors at an early age, like drugs and alcohol and cigarettes and early sexual benefits.
Now, you have some points to make sure that a family dinner is really sort of within your reach. And the first is keep it together even when it's separate. What do you mean by that exactly?
So I really want families to know that it's not an all or nothing proposition when it comes to family dinner. So we're all really busy. If we can't make family dinner happen every single night, that's okay. If we can't have every family member there at the same time, that's okay. Even just a couple of family members sitting down and connecting over dinner still is worth it and still has those benefits. And in fact, a few weeks ago, my husband and I both had meetings on the same night, and we try to avoid that, but our kids are teenagers. They're old enough to stay alone. And the next morning I was talking to them, and I was so amazed for them to tell me that they sat down and had dinner together, and they talked over dinner. So these things can really rub off on them.
That's wonderful. And also I know that part of keeping it, even though if it's separate, keeping it together, is because a lot of people eat different things. They have dietary restrictions, right? They may have food allergies. So even if what you're consuming is different, it's important to consume those different things together.
That is very true. That is very true. In terms of with little children and picky eaters, I'm a big proponent of one meal for the whole family, even in some modified forms. But if one person, as long as you're connecting in some form or another, there's no perfect way. In fact, I encourage people to embrace imperfection.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point, because when did mothers and fathers become short order cooks and cook to cater to their children so much? They're never going to learn to enjoy different kinds of foods if you're cooking pasta and chicken nuggets for them every night.
And actually, that's a really good point.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That is a really good point, and I think another thing that happens in that situation is that the parent who's cooking becomes exhausted and depleted, and they feel defeated, and they don't even want to make dinner anymore. So another thing, since you brought it up, I do encourage people not to feed their families those prepackaged, you know, fatty chicken nuggets and boxes of macaroni and cheese too often, because with picky eaters, kids do develop a taste for that salty, fatty food at an early age. And if we raise them on sort of eating what the family's eating and eating real foods together, they're more likely to eat the healthy foods that their bodies need.
Okay, the next you say put the technology on hold. That includes parents too.
Yes.
Yes. All right,
so,
you know, obviously, you don't want to be having a family dinner and be looking at your iPhone the whole time, right?
Right. You know, we are on our gadgets, many of us, from the moment we wake up in the morning until the moment we go to bed at night. And I feel like if we have one zone where we can all disconnect from technology and really connect with each other, it can make a big difference. And family dinner is kind of the perfect time for that. And if parents think that the kids don't notice when they're glancing at their phones and their gadgets during dinner time, I think they're probably wrong. The kids start to feel like they're not a priority.
Finally, you say it's not how much time you spend around the table, it's how you spend it. And as you said, sometimes it's a very short family dinner, but it can still be a meaningful one, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I think once we focus on getting some of the stress out around family dinners, and I love helping families do that, we can really focus on making dinners our favorite time of day. And when that happens, we don't even look at the clock because we're really having a nice time. And I know sometimes with my kids, after 30 minutes at the table, I have to shoo everyone away from the table and get everyone up to clean up and get back to our busy evenings because we've gotten so relaxed. You know, we're happy to have that time to connect.
Well, I think these are great ideas. And up next, you're going to have some tips on how to make over your mealtime and get healthy homemade dinners on the table fast. That's right after this. And welcome back, everybody. So we've been talking about the importance of the family dinner. Here to show us how to make it happen at your house in no time is family dinner expert Aviva Goldfarb. All right, Aviva. Yeah, give Aviva. All right, so you have some tips that are going to really help us, and one is cutting your prep time, really, by a lot. So tell us how we can do that.
Well, definitely one of the ways is to have a well-stocked kitchen with some of the things that you know that your family needs on a regular basis.
Right.
So in my family, for example, I know if we have beans and salsa and whole wheat tortillas, I can make about 7 different meals out of that.
Right.
So having some basics, having some grains, preferably whole grains that you can pull together a quick meal, and things like tomatoes and salsa can add a lot of nutrition without adding a lot of time.
Okay, you also, I think I have this crock pot actually at home.
This is yours, they stole it this morning.
So tell us about why these are so great.
Well, so a crock pot can really be your best friend in the kitchen, especially if your evenings are really busy. So if you take 5 or 10 minutes in the morning to throw everything in the crock pot, when you get home at the end of the day, dinner is basically done. And then if you want to be really clever about it, you can also set up in the morning a bread machine or a rice cooker. And then at the end of the day, you walk in the house smells amazing, and you're good to go.
Okay, that's a good idea. I'm going to try that. And can you make whole wheat and healthy bread?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Now, you also talk about getting everybody involved.
Yes.
And tell us about that.
So this is a great tip that you guys are going to love. I learned this from my friend Lori Marrero of the Clutter Diet. So, you know, we're unloading the dishwasher in the morning because we usually run the dishwasher at night after dinner. When we're unloading the dishwasher in the morning, instead of taking the plates and the silverware and putting them away and then taking them out later for dinner, just put them right on the dinner table. So you're setting the table in the morning, and this is a great job to delegate to one of your little ones.
And finally, you're going to show us a really simple dish, which, by the way, sounds delicious, involving shrimp. And you think shrimp is a good thing because it cooks so quickly?
It cooks quickly. You can keep it in the freezer. It tastes really good from frozen. Not everything. You can't say that about everything. So shrimp is a great weeknight solution. And we're going to be making a spiced tossed shrimp with Parmesan grits. It's really healthy. And actually, I'm going to have you, if you don't mind, combine these spices. So we have
all of them in here?
Yeah, they're all going in here. And we're combining them just so they'll spread more evenly on the shrimp. So we have some lemon pepper seasoning, some black pepper, some chili powder, some thyme, and some oregano, a lot of oregano. And you can use, let's just stir them up a little bit. You can use whatever spices you like. This is a combination that I found works really well. So now we're going to pour these over the shrimp and toss the shrimp with them. And meanwhile, I'm going to heat up the olive oil in this pan. We just have about a tablespoon of olive oil that we're going to use. So it's just a really fun thing. And you can see, I mean, almost the moment that you put them in a hot pan, they start to cook immediately. So we have some that are already cooked over here.
Okay.
And so to make the grits, all you do is a cup of quick cooking grits and 4 cups of water with a little salt. And as soon as it's done, we can actually do this now. We're going to stir in the Parmesan cheese. So it's about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, which is a really low-fat cheese, but it gives a lot of flavor.
The butter.
And a tablespoon of butter.
Okay.
And we're going to stir those in, and that's it. So we're going to serve that. And I can actually serve shrimp and grits. And that's, I mean, that is literally, it's a little faster on TV, but this literally takes 10 minutes from table to, from start to finish. So we're going to serve a little bit of grits here. It's kind of fun and different. We don't have grits that much.
Right.
Or at least here we don't. And then we're going to put a little bit of shrimp right on top of those. And if you want to, you can turn those.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Thank you.
We may want to eat these.
Yeah.
I don't want them to burn.
And over here, we made some asparagus with pine nuts, and that, too, is so simple.
Well, Aviva, thank you so much. This was fun and interesting and important.
Thank you for cooking for us, Katie.
The trifecta. I know, I'm doing
You're doing a great job.
Anyway, you can go to katiecouric.com if you'd like Aviva's recipe for shrimp and grits, and maybe we'll try it in a little bit. And everyone in the studio audience will be getting a 6-month subscription to Aviva's food planning service called 6 O'Clock Scramble. So that should be helpful. And we'll be back right after this.